Have you ever woken up in the morning, stretched your legs, and thought to yourself, why does my body feel like it's just not mine anymore? That little spark of energy, that youthful confidence you used to carry, it feels like it's slipped through your fingers, and maybe no one around you even notices. But you do. Deep down, you know something's changed, not just in your body, but in how you feel as a man. Hi, I'm Dr. Eliana, and I want to talk to you about something most people are too shy or too scared to say out loud, especially after the age of 60, but not me. Because I believe every man deserves to feel connected, confident, and truly alive in his body, no matter how many candles are on his birthday cake. Now, I know the word masturbation still causes a few eyebrows to raise, especially in older generations. Maybe you were taught to feel shame around it. Maybe you believed it was only for young men. Or maybe you just stopped doing it altogether because your body doesn't respond the way it used to. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. Not masturbating in your later years, it can quietly take a toll on your physical health, emotional balance, and even your ability to stay intimate with your partner and with yourself. Now, before you click away, I want to share a story with you. A story that changed the way I view male aging forever. A few years ago, I met a man named Raj. He was 67, a retired railway engineer, and at first glance, he looked like someone who had it all figured out. Sharp mind, disciplined lifestyle, and a wonderful marriage that had lasted more than 3 decades. But when we sat across from each other in my office, his smile was hiding something deeper. He told me, "Doc, it's not that I can't perform. It's just, I don't feel connected anymore. I don't crave it. I don't even think about it. And I hate to admit it, but I haven't touched myself in years. It feels like something's missing." That sentence, "something's missing," echoed in my mind for days. You see, it wasn't about dysfunction. It was about disconnection, about a part of him slowly fading, not because he was old, but because no one ever told him how to care for that part of himself as he aged. And that brings us to today. Because this video isn't just about masturbation, it's about reconnection, about understanding how your sexual health is linked to everything: your heart, your hormones, your mood, and your very sense of vitality. Let me walk you through 5 powerful truths, what I call the secrets no one told you about masturbation after 60. These are not based on fluff or tabloid myths. They're grounded in real medical science, neurological evidence, and personal stories like Raj's men, who discovered that aging doesn't mean the end of pleasure. It just means we need to understand it differently. Now, this one shocks most of my patients, because from a very young age, men are taught to equate their masculinity, their sexual identity, and even their self-worth with one thing: whether or not they can get and maintain an erection. But that's not how your body works after 60. In fact, that kind of pressure to perform can actually harm your health physically and emotionally. You see, an erection is just one tiny piece of a very complex puzzle. Your sexual system isn't just about blood flow. It's about nerves, hormones, muscle tone, psychological readiness, emotional openness, and, believe it or not, a relaxed mind. Here's what I tell every patient: an erection is not the goal. Connection is the goal. And connection can take many forms. Whether you have full arousal or just a slow, sensual moment with your own body, it still counts. It's still healing. It's still keeping your vascular and nervous systems alive and responsive. Let me share something fascinating. The pelvic nerves responsible for erection and pleasure are like any other muscles. If they aren't gently stimulated over time, they lose tone. Just like you wouldn't expect strong arms if you never lifted anything. You can't expect a responsive sexual system if it's left dormant for months or even years. That's why when older men tell me they've given up on self-pleasure because it's not the same, I gently remind them it doesn't have to be the same. It just has to be intentional. A soft touch, a moment of curiosity, a deep breath. These things matter more than you think. Here's something most people don't realize: sexual pleasure begins not in the genitals, but in the brain. And as we age, our brain chemistry changes. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, these are all feel-good chemicals involved in arousal and bonding. But guess what? These chemicals also help fight depression, anxiety, and even brain fog. Now imagine this: you go months or years without triggering that system. No gentle touch, no release, no self-intimacy. What happens? The body slowly forgets what pleasure feels like. The neural pathways that once lit up with anticipation and connection begin to dim. This is what I call the emotional drought. You may not even notice it at first. You might just feel a little more irritable, a little more disconnected, a little more numb. Masturbation, when done consciously, not compulsively, is like watering that dry garden. It reawakens those neural circuits. It reminds your brain, hey, I still matter, I still feel, I still desire. And let me tell you, that's powerful medicine. And before you think it's too late, science disagrees. Neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to adapt and rewire, exists well into your 80s and beyond. So even if you've been out of practice, that connection can absolutely return. I once had an 81-year-old patient who, after losing his wife, believed that chapter of his life was closed forever. After our sessions, he started with gentle breathwork, then self-touch, then full reconnection. A year later, he told me, I didn't just feel younger, I felt alive again. So if you've ever wondered why you feel off, emotionally, flat, or even irritable, ask yourself, when was the last time I truly connected with myself? And if that question feels uncomfortable, that's okay. Growth often starts with discomfort. Let's pause here for now. Take a deep breath. This isn't about pressure or performance. It's about rediscovering yourself at your own pace. You're still here with me, and I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for being open-minded enough, curious enough, and bold enough to explore a subject that most people your age were never taught to talk about. That in itself is powerful. It means you still care about your health, your dignity, and your inner vitality, and that matters. Now, let's continue with the truth that surprises many men the most. Use it or lose it. This phrase sounds harsh, but it carries wisdom that's backed by decades of medical research. Your sexual system, just like your muscles, your joints, and your memory, needs stimulation to stay healthy. Let me explain what happens when you go months, or even years, without engaging your sexual reflexes, whether through intercourse or masturbation. Your pelvic floor muscles begin to weaken. Blood vessels that once carried healthy circulation to your most sensitive areas become less elastic. And your nerves? They begin to quiet down too. The brain, thinking this part of the body is no longer active, starts to shift focus away from maintaining its function. I often compare it to a garden hose that hasn't been used in a long time. The water pressure drops, the rubber stiffens, the inside gets dry, but start running water through it again gently, regularly, and life returns. Flexibility, pressure, and flow all restored. A gentleman named Aaron came to me when he was 74. He hadn't had any sexual activity in nearly a decade. It's too late for me, he said, lowering his eyes. I've already lost it. But we didn't focus on performance. We focused on connection, on touch, on breath, on gentle stimulation of the pelvic muscles. And within 3 months, he had noticeable improvement, not just in sensation, but in energy and confidence too. The point is simple: regular, mindful engagement with your body, even if it doesn't look like it used to, sends a signal to your brain and hormones. This system still matters, and the body responds. Now, let's turn to a slightly more sensitive, but very important subject: porn's impact on sexual reflexes. Now, I want to be clear, not here to shame anyone. If you've used adult material in your life, you're far from alone. But I want to explain something many older men don't realize about how visual stimulation can silently alter the way your body responds over time. When you're younger, your brain is highly responsive to novelty. Seeing new images, new bodies, and new scenes triggers a flood of dopamine, a reward chemical. But as men age, relying too heavily on pornography can start to train the brain to associate arousal only with what's on the screen, not what's in real life. Over time, this creates something we call sexual disassociation. It means that even when you're with a real partner, or when you try to self-pleasure without a screen, your body may not respond the same way. Why? Because it's been neurologically rewired to seek hyperstimulation from fantasy, not from sensation, breath, or emotional presence. I met a man named Vikram, 66, who told me that while he could still watch adult videos and feel aroused, he felt numb and disconnected during actual touch, whether with himself or his partner. It's like I'm there, but I'm not really there. The good news is this pattern can be reversed, but it requires retraining your arousal pathways, bringing your awareness back into your body. That means stepping away from screens during intimate moments, focusing on breath, touch, pressure, warmth, scent, sensation, even sound. These are your original tools of pleasure, and they never stop working unless we forget how to use them. You don't have to give up stimulation altogether, but you may need to change the channel from external distraction to internal connection. Now for the final truth in this section, and this one touches my heart the most: masturbation as a lifeline. Let me say something directly. Masturbation is not selfish. It is self-care. So many older men grew up being told that self-pleasure was dirty, sinful, or shameful, that it was something to hide or be embarrassed about. But here's the truth: it's a practice of presence, of tuning into your body, of staying connected to your vitality, your touch, your breath, your being. As men age, they often experience increased isolation, especially after retirement, after the loss of a partner, or during health challenges. That isolation can take a toll on both the heart and the body. But conscious, intentional self-touch can become a bridge, a way of reminding yourself, I am still here, I am still alive, I am still worthy of pleasure and comfort. One of my most cherished patients, Mr. Iqbal, began a daily self-connection ritual at age 79. It wasn't just about release, it was about ritual. A warm bath, gentle music, deep breathing, a few minutes of touching his own chest, his thighs, his belly, not just genitals. He called it his sacred 10 minutes, and he told me, I don't feel invisible anymore. This is what I want for you, not just arousal, just function, but dignity, reconnection, peace. You deserve it. So if anyone ever made you feel ashamed for touching yourself, or for still wanting intimacy in your later years, remember this: your body still belongs to you, and it is never too late to cherish it. Let's take a deep breath together for a moment. You've come a long way already, and I want to acknowledge that. Talking about masturbation at any age is tough for many people, but especially so for men over 60, who often grew up in a world where silence, shame, or misinformation were the only things they were handed. But here, you are leaning into this conversation not just with curiosity, but with courage. And now that we've peeled back the layers, uncovered the emotional, hormonal, and neurological truths, let's pull all of this together into something meaningful, something actionable, something healing. Because here's the truth: masturbation is not about just the body, it's about life. It's about connection, circulation, confidence, and care. So how do you move forward? Well, I want to guide you through a gentle framework, a daily practice I call the Golden Protocol. It's not a prescription, it's not a chore, it's a gift, one you give yourself. It begins with presence, not performance. You see, the modern world has trained us to think of pleasure as an achievement, a result, a performance to measure. But that mindset is what leads to anxiety, numbness, and disappointment. When you let go of that expectation and instead allow yourself to feel, not force, you'll begin to experience something that's far more powerful than arousal. You'll feel aliveness. So here's what I suggest: pick a time during the day when you're not rushed, when you're not tired. It doesn't have to be nighttime, it can be a quiet morning or a midday pause. Light a candle, play music you love, take a warm shower or bath. These aren't indulgences, they're invitations to return to yourself. Start by touching your chest, your shoulders, your neck, just to say to your body, I'm here with you. You'd be surprised how many men haven't done that in decades. Then, place one hand over your heart and take 3 deep breaths. Feel your belly rise, Feel your lungs expand. That breath alone activates your parasympathetic nervous system, calms the mind, and opens the body to sensation. From there, you can slowly, gently begin to explore touch on your terms, not rushing, not chasing anything, just noticing. Is it warmth, tingling, pressure, softness? There is no wrong, there is only awareness. Now here's where many older men rediscover something beautiful. When you stop trying to perform and start trying to feel, the body wakes up again. Sensitivity increases. Your body learns it's safe to open up, to trust again. And if during this ritual, you experience pleasure, or arousal, or climax, that's wonderful. But if you don't, that's equally powerful, because what you've done is tell your body, you matter. That is healing in itself. Now, I also want to address something very real. What if you've lost function? What if, because of diabetes, surgery, medications, or nerve issues, you feel like pleasure is behind you? It's not. Pleasure isn't only in the genitals. It's in the breath, the skin, the heartbeat, the memories. It's in being touched with kindness by your own hand. And even without erection, the nervous system still responds to gentleness, still sends messages of comfort, of safety, of connection. Some of the most powerful experiences I've witnessed in men came not from climax, but from tears. Tears that flowed when they realized they could be gentle with themselves again, that they didn't have to carry shame anymore, that they were still lovable, even alone. You deserve that too. And if you have a partner, I encourage you share this journey. Invite touch, not just sex. Cuddle, caress, hold hands, eye contact. Emotional intimacy rekindles physical intimacy. Start small. Don't chase perfection. Chase presence. Before we close, let me leave you with the message I tell every man I meet in my practice. You are not broken. You are not too old. And you are not alone. Your sexual energy is your life force, not because of what it looks like on the outside, but because of what it connects you to inside. Your heart, your mind, your history, your humanity. If no one has told you this before, let me be the first. It's okay to want more, to feel again, to explore, to touch, to remember the fire that still lives inside you. You don't need permission. You only need compassion for yourself. And if you've struggled with shame, disconnection, or silence for years, I want you to know your healing can begin today. Not from pills, not from pressure, but from presence. Let yourself be human. Let yourself be whole. And if this video has sparked something in you, hope, curiosity, maybe even healing, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. You never know who you might help by speaking your truth. And if this message resonated, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and help spread awareness to others who may be silently suffering, because no man deserves to go through aging, feeling invisible. You matter. You are worthy of touch, of pleasure, and of peace. Here's to your healing, here's to your power, and here's to rediscovering the intimacy that never left. You just had to return to it. If you've stayed with me through this conversation, thank you. It means more than you know, because what we've talked about today, it's not just about the body, it's about the soul, about being honest with yourself in a way many men never get the chance to be, about rewriting the script you were handed decades ago, one that told you silence is strength, or that aging means invisibility. But let me tell you something now, from one human being to another, aging is not the end. It's a deeper beginning. You're not here by accident. You clicked on this video because something inside of you still wants to thrive, still wants to feel, still wants to know. Can I have intimacy, connection, energy, and meaning again? And the answer, gently, lovingly, absolutely, is yes. We've talked about 5 powerful truths today. That an erection is not the full measure of your manhood. That masturbation isn't dirty or shameful, it's emotional, neurological, and deeply personal. That your body operates on a use it or lose it principle, not as a threat, but as an invitation. That pornography can reshape your reflexes in ways that might not serve your long-term health, and that you deserve better than hollow, fast pleasure. And that self-pleasure, when done with care and intention, can be a lifeline, a way back to the most important relationship you'll ever have the one with yourself. And if you take nothing else away from today, take this: you are allowed to heal. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to start over. And no matter how many years have passed, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter how long it's been since you felt truly alive, your body is listening. And your heart? It's just waiting for permission to feel again. So whether you start with a small touch, a deep breath, or simply a shift in mindset, know that every step you take toward kindness and self-respect is a step toward greater health, vitality, and wholeness. And if this message stirred something in you, if you feel seen, understood, or maybe just curious again, I love to hear from you in the comments. You are not alone in this journey. Thousands of other men are walking it with you, many silently. Be the voice someone else might need to hear. Please like this video if it helped you. Subscribe to this channel for more conversations like this. And if you know a friend, a brother, a father, a partner, someone who might need to hear this, share it with them. Because men deserve healing too. You deserve to live these years not in fear or frustration, but in fullness. So go gently, go bravely, and remember, it's never too late to come home to yourself. Take care, be well, and I'll see you in the next video.